Hi, welcome to the Brief Book Reviews channel, otherwise known as An Old Guy Reviews the Book that he's read this week. So what's the old guy read this week? The book I've read this week is this one. It's a paperback. It's called A Boy Called Saul. It's by author Fiona Cummins. It was published by Pan on the 10th of April 2025 here in the UK. As I briefly mentioned there, it's a paperback, and eagle-eyed viewers will notice on the front that it says The Reading Agency, Quick Reads. Now, the Reading Agency is a national charity here in the UK with a mission to empower people of all ages to read. Literally, even in a wealthy country like the UK, literacy levels are still, not that good. So, this project, the Quick Reads project, is basically a project that's sponsored by a lot of major publishers. The Reading Agency do lots of other stuff related to helping people with reading, etc. But every year, the Reading Agency deliver 6 books. They're all in a quick read format. They're all roughly about 100 pages in paperback form, and they're a £1. So what do you get for £1 nowadays? Well, not a lot, apart from obviously a quick read. This year's, the 2025 Quick Reads were published in April. There are 6 books, and this book I've got here, A Boy Called Saul, is one of them. They're all published by well-known authors. Some of them are précis, shortened versions of existing books. This one here that I'm reviewing this week, A Boy Called Saul, whilst the character of Saul has been mentioned in some of Fiona Cummins' other books, this is a unique story to the Quick Reads project. So I'm a big supporter of literacy projects. I support my local library, and I think this is a great project to support. So I've bought this one. I will buy the others in the series and probably review them on the way as well. Less of a waffle, Cliff. What's this story about? Well, as I said, it's a short story, 107 pages in paperback format. And it's got 2 central characters, basically. One's a guy called Saul Anguish. He's a clever but troubled teen. He was brought up in a household where his father was a bit of a wrong-un. The police were always referred to as the filth. You never cooperate with the police no matter what. His father's passed away, and Saul's now 18 and living with his alcoholic mother. So he's a great lover of nature. He likes to get out, but he lives by his wits. He's a clever lad, but he lives a bit on the wrong side of the tracks, if you will. The other central character in the story is a lady called Etta Fitzroy. She's a former cop with the Met Police, but she's now moved to New York, married a guy who works in a museum, got a child, and is living the life in New York when she gets a call from her former boss saying, "We've got a bit of a budget for a bit of consultancy, and we've got a few missing persons cases, and I think you could be the person to help us with it." And she immediately thinks, "Wow, that was my past life." But there's a bit of a call, and she thinks, "You know what? Maybe I will go for a few days. I can get help with my husband, and friends can help with looking after my child. It'd be good to get back to the UK for a few days." So she comes back to the UK and meets her former boss. And he presents to her a case where there are lots and lots of missing persons. To complicate matters, they don't seem to have any correlation between the people that have gone missing, but there are lots of them. And, he wants her to help solve this problem. And she's going, "Well, why me?" Well, it turns out that there's been a connection with Saul Anguish. And Saul's been finding pieces of jewellery, etc., and pawning them in the local pawn shop. But it turns out that Saul has discovered what looks to be like a bit of a graveyard. So Etta is tasked with trying to find out what's going on here. Clearly, there's some nefarious activity going on. We've got the character of Saul, who's a difficult boy. He doesn't know. He's brought up with an inbuilt distrust of the police, and can Etta and Saul, who know each other because 2 years previously they were involved with a case where a young girl was kidnapped by a serial killer. that case left its mark on both Saul and Etta. So Saul and Etta know each other. Etta's tasked with contacting Saul and see if they can solve this mystery of why all these people are turning up in this graveyard. So that, in essence, is the story. I have to say the author's done a really good job. 107 pages. You get a story where you're engaged with the character of Saul and Etta. You understand their relationship, and it's a mystery. You don't know what on earth's going on. Why are all these people gone missing? What's happening here? So I really enjoyed it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think that's probably it for this week's brief book review. It's a brief book review on a quick read, but I'll stick the link to the reading agency in the description. So if anybody wants to see some of the other projects that they're working on, then feel free to have a look. And I think that's it for this week's brief book review. Good murder mystery. Really enjoyed reading it. 7 out of 10. That's it for this week's brief book review. 10/10 till we do it again. Thanks for watching. Bye.